Hello, and welcome to the off-the-air anthology, I guess. I don't know if that's what everyone else is calling it, but that's what I'm calling it. And there's 3 separate segments that, slightly planned, weren't actually, let's call it scripted? Yeah, let's call it scripted. Noah, Dan, and I are all recording individually this week for a special anthology-style episode. We're all kind of taking our own direction, seeing what happens when you blend them all together in post. Now, this is obviously the first segment you're hearing. Now, this is obviously the second segment you're hearing. Now, this is obviously the third segment you're hearing. So, see, now I put all 3 of them in there so that way Noah can, in editing, meld them together so it's right, or do what I'm pretty sure he's going to do, which is leave them all in there. That way I look dumb. It'll be funny. Anyway, what am I talking about today in my segment? First of all, I'm joined by Krampus, my co-host, who will not be talking because she's, actually took a vow of silence. That was her response. Today, I don't know. I'm not feeling the best I've ever felt in my life, and I don't know if I'm getting sick. I don't think I'm getting sick, but there's a lot of wildfires going on. So if you haven't heard, in Canada and New Jersey, all over around here, and the air quality is way worse than it, I think, ever has been. I'm hesitant to say in my life, but I can't remember a time when our air quality index was bad enough that the weatherman was like, yeah, you should probably consider staying inside. He was I was talking to him, and he basically was like, yeah, it's, AQI was 110. I think it was 108, actually. And 150 is where you want to start, shutting the doors, locking yourself inside. So it's pretty bad out today, actually. Not a fan. But I got some stuff to make it a little more fun, keep me a little more company. One of them is this new hobby I'm not guaranteed to have picked up, but I'm considering, and that's, hello, Krampus, you need more pets? Krampus got a flea bath earlier this week, so she's had better days in her life. But with Mari's cat, hi Mari, by the way, because this is the shout out moment. But with Mari's cat, because Mari's family's going to visit her in just a few days by the time this comes out, and so I'm going to be watching her cat at my house. That way the cats can all be together, and her cat's not going to be lonely. So I brought him over to interact with my cat. So I gave Krampus a flea bath just in case, because she was itchy and she's allergic to fleas. So it's kind of my canary in the coal mines. If I see her scratching, maybe we got something going on. So she got a bath before Moo came over, just to be safe. So she's had a better week. But she does pretty good in the bath for a cat. I feel like a lot of cats get, grumpy, struggle, scream, cry, fight. And she did the first couple of times. But after a while, she kind of started to realize the bath is, makes her feel better afterwards. And I think just the warm water, she kind of likes it, which is nice. Anyway, the new hobby I was talking about. So I have picked up a couple core sets of Battle Spirits Saga, which is a new trading card game. From Bandai Namco, publishers of Dark Souls, and a lot. So it's like a trading card game. The thing that I like about it, first of all, Rob, who's known as a friend and sometime guest on podcast, is the one who introduced me to it, and I've been talking about it for a little while. It just released, and it's pretty interesting. It's not super dissimilar to other card games like, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, but it's not as rules heavy. It's not as complicated. You're not getting every single card with millions and millions of articles of text. It's a little bit more streamlined. And it also, the thing that I like the most about it is that it works on a system that's a little bit similar to Hearthstone, I think is the best comparison, because you don't have, like you do in Magic, you have mana that you have to, you can play 1 mana a turn, and they're coming out of your deck. Pokemon, you have energy, then you get energy out of your deck. Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't really do that, which is, cool, if you ask me. And one of the things that I liked about Yu-Gi-Oh! A lot when I was playing as a younger kid, but this game, Battle Spirit Saga, it uses a cores system that is a lot more similar to Hearthstone, where you have essentially a select number of mana crystals, basically, that you can draw from to take actions on a turn. So everything, your spells and your monsters both use these crystals, and you get one more each turn. So the game has a tempo at which it ramps up. Obviously, there's some cards that will give you more of them, less of them. And there's some more complexities to it than that. But it's overall pretty simple to start. And I think that is really fun. I literally just got the first cards I've gotten of it in today. There's a game store not far from my house that we went to play some, which is actually pretty cool because they have like some loaner decks that, if you just go in there, you can play to try them out. And since the game just launched, there's only a few cards out. It's kind of cool. It's neat being on like the ground floor of a trading card game because it's never been something I've done before. I think by the time I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For the first time, I was probably 12, 13 maybe. I was definitely a little older than most like first-time players. I missed all of everything previous to like 5Ds and like the synchro summoning and like the dragons and all that. I missed. So I started when it was already like pretty complex, and then it only got more complex from there. So I feel like there's definitely a lot of power creep in card games, and it's not a new factor. I know Magic's got some weirdness going on right now. Apparently they're doing a lot more releases since Hasbro took over. But they're also doing a Lord of the Rings collaboration, and they're releasing a 1-of-1 card, which I think is insane, but also like, that's crazy. A 1-of-1, it's the One Ring, and it's literally a 1-of-1 card in the entire set, like the whole release, and that's insane to me because people are going to be looking for it like crazy. The scariest thing is if you are Wizards of the Coast, what if like that 1-of-1 the One Ring card gets in the hands of like a child somewhere who doesn't know about it and just like ends up in a shoebox or gets thrown out. Like there's so much potential for things to go wrong. I'm sure they have some kind of plan for it, and I'm sure that they have like a contingency in the event that they don't have anyone find it. It's kind of, I haven't played Magic in forever, but I heard about that the other day when I was talking about this new game. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. A 1-of-1 card in the entire set being produced globally. I'm not that into the card games, haven't been in a long time, but I figured this might be fun to pick up since it's on the ground floor. I've got a friend that's also interested in it, and there's a shop like 5 minutes from my house that has people playing, so it's worth looking into, worth starting out. And with the air quality being like it is right now, it's not really fun to go, out fishing, go out on the kayak until things clear up a little bit. We've been without rain for over 2 weeks, going on 3 weeks now. No rain, so it's getting, the air quality combined with the lack of rain, things are just a little not pleasant outdoors. I went fishing yesterday, and it was like every single cast I was bringing in just like nasty wads of pollen, which is, again, that's that time of year, it's late spring, everything's dropping its pollen. But yeah, it just was like it felt like I was spending more time picking clumps of white fluffies off my lures and my line than I was actually fishing, which is crazy. Especially because like it's so like fine and it like clumps up so well. So like as you reel it in, it'll just like go through the eyelets on the rod and go right into your like spool, and then it's just there forever, and then it dries and gets nasty. And it's not pleasant. So you got to be like pretty diligent about it. It just takes up a lot of time when you do that. It's kind of strange doing an anthology style episode. It makes me wonder what Dan and Noah are talking about right now. This is the part where there's an opportunity for Noah to insert the most ludicrous thing that's been said around the 10-minute mark of anybody else's recording. We'll see what happens. And if nothing happened and there was just like an awkward silence, then like I don't blame Noah. That man does a lot of work. If he just was like raw audio, throw it in there. In which case, I'm sorry to everyone who is just listening to the pauses. But something tells me Noah's got an eye for fun. That Noah, I tell you. Wonder how long I could just... The dynamic of recording when you know that someone else is in charge of editing it is really fun to me, and it adds a level of interaction where there otherwise wouldn't be any. And I think it's something that I like to play into. It's one thing I really enjoy about Dan Giesling as a streamer, and I know I've talked about him before, and he's a longtime favorite of mine, just because of the way he is like running positive content, family friendly, whatever. That's not always for everybody, but there's a time and place for it, and I'm appreciative of it. But he also will regularly interact with the like editors of his upcoming like VODs. Like as he's streaming, it'll be like, make a comment here or there for the editors, and I find that to be really fun, and I think that's a really, I don't know, it creates a good video to watch after the fact, because especially when the editors themselves are also in on the joke and funny, and Noah's in on the joke and funny. So it's like, if I throw something in there, like the time when I did the triple read earlier, something's going to be made of it, whether it's actually being used for the way I intended to, say it 3 times so that it could be segmented and inserted, or if it's going to be played straight as a goof, or if Noah's going to say, this is the first segment you're listening to, and it's the 3rd segment. Who knows? I suppose in that sense, Noah's he's in charge of putting it all together, deciding the order of things today, which is nice, because I do that all day, so I'm glad somebody else gets to do it this time. Alright, so I'm actually going to open up, not the packs, because I got 2 of these core sets, because they were like pretty cheap, and like, you don't really, you save on shipping if you buy multiple. So I bought 2, and I'm going to, one's for Rob, but I want to open it and look, because there's like exclusive cards inside the core set, and I want to see what they look like. Also, because if you've ever had, collected, or used any kind of like trading card before, that there's like a definite amount of dopamine associated with it that really is, I would say, 40% of the fun. And I don't even think that's like remotely controversial. I think that everyone will admit it's like buying a lottery ticket, but it's not the same, because there's like a guaranteed reward, and it's also about the content of the cards themselves. Whoa, there's a special one in here. There's 2 special ones in here. I think they're the same card. Like, those promos that they'll do. And by they'll, I mean, card manufacturers. Yeah, it's the same one. It's kind of cool, though. You'll have to see something shiny. If you're like me, because you have the brain of a crow. Yeah, I'm not going to open like the packs, because it wouldn't really work that way. I think it's a neat concept. It seems like a neat game, and I'm excited to get more into it. So I'll report back, next week after I've done a little bit more. I did have another thing I wanted to bring up, but then I went to look into it, and I didn't get a good answer. And the thing I was wanting to look into was Dead Island 2. Because I thought it was out, but I didn't see it on Steam, and now I'm thinking, is it a unique to console game, or is it maybe I've got to put my birthday in if I want to look at it on the website. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going, get out of here. But yeah, it's probably like an Epic Game Store exclusive or something like that. I have really fond memories of Dead Island 1, and I think that at least Noah and I have talked about this. I believe Dan has also chimed in, but Noah and I had like a mutual friend that was very into Dead Island, where I had learned about it and played it, and I think probably the same for Noah. I don't remember 100%. We can talk about it next week too. Who knows? Because I'm thinking about picking it up, but I'm not 100% sold. I needed to make sure that I could even run this game, and I'm looking at some gameplay footage, and it doesn't seem that how should I say this? Nice. So I think I could probably run this game. I had fond memories for the first, and just like messing around on Steam with it with a friend of mine a couple years back. My friend Zane and I we just like played a lot of the first Dead Island game, and we just made it, because the game itself lends itself to a like fairly freeform narrative. You don't have to do a lot of things, so it's pretty open world for being a linear story-based game, and we would kind of make our own little adventures within this world, and I think that's something Dead Island nailed that a lot of games I have found don't get right, which is like, you have a story, you have a goal, you have a plot, you have missions that are critical, but you also have the ability to make your own like adventures, whether it be going on side missions or just doing something to do it. And I I really enjoyed that about Dead Island, because in multiplayer games, I find that isn't super common. And I think, I feel about Dead Island the way a lot of people feel about like Breath of the Wild, where I'm like, this is like what an open world game should be all about. And now this is someone who hasn't played through the whole game in the better part of a decade, so take everything I'm saying with like a lot of salt, like a whole shaker even. But I remember it being really fun, and I remember having a good time with it. And the sequel looks like the gameplay is pretty similar. The only thing is it's really hard to gauge how similar it is to the parts that I liked from the first game. Because the visuals look the same, the dialogue looks the same, and a lot of the environments look the same, but the gameplay loop itself might be wildly different. I'm curious, and I want to give this game a try. Now that I'm seeing the quality of it, I'm thinking that, yeah, I could probably give it a play. Yeah, I want to try and find, where is it available? Because I didn't see it on Steam. If this is an Epic Game Store exclusive, it is on Windows. So, yeah, I'm wondering why I don't see it on Steam. My best guess is it's probably Epic Games. Watch it be, like, unique to somewhere else. Let's see. If only I could Google things. Dead Island 2 PC. Yeah, it looks like it's an Epic Game Store exclusive, because I'm not seeing it. Yeah, everything seems to be Epic Games. So I'll have to figure that out at a later date, because I don't really use the Epic Games launcher, and yeah, that's fine. I'm kind of bummed now, because that's where, like, I don't know. I'm partial to Steam, and that's kind of been where all my friends and stuff are. So I don't. Yeah, whatever. I want to give it a try, though. I think Dead Island 2 has some potential for being a fun romp if you're willing to not play it for the game. And that's what I miss about when I used to play games a lot more, because I don't that often anymore. But when I did, the thing that I liked doing the most was just, like, getting together with some friends, or even just a friend, and making a game into a story, into a, not like role-playing full-on, like down to the character creation and backstories, but like, making memories and inside jokes and fun little adventures and having dumb moments within the game. And that's something I look forward to a lot with Dead Island 2, because I have my friend Zane, and I talked to him about playing it again. We haven't talked that much in a long time, but it would be a really fun thing to be able to do and to kind of remember. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And I think it's going to be a good time. So I'm looking forward to giving it a try. Another thing that I want to get back into is Stardew Valley, because I remember I love that game. It's such a relaxing, good time. During the summer, not so much. Like, not the summer of the game, but like the real life summer, because, I can just go outside, and a lot of times I would prefer that. But I feel like it would be a really fun game to play through, because I've still never even touched the co-op mode. And I feel like there's so much potential to have a great time in the co-op. So I really want to give that a shot. I talked to Mari about actually us doing that together, because I thought that would be a lot of fun. Because I feel like it's a classic, like, couples game. And by classic, I mean, like, oh no. I was gonna say it's like a couple years old. Then I thought about it for a second, and I'm like, nope. That game came out, I believe. I don't know when it came out. I played it for the first time in the summer of late spring, early summer, about this time of year, April, May of 2016. So like just about a year after I graduated high school, which is, it's 8 years ago. Stardew Valley is 8 years old. It's probably true. It's February 26, 2016. So I wasn't there day one. I was there in probably April or so. And yeah, that's been over 7 years. That's crazy. Not quite 7.5. So let's still call it 7. Let's not go all the way to 8 for my own sake. But wow, 7 years old. So anybody who's listening to this that is flabbergasted by that, you're welcome. I am too. Wow. Stardew Valley. Wait. Also, I'm realizing I'm running low on time because we are doing a joint episode. Makes you realize how fast 20 minutes-ish can go by. So I suppose that's going to be it for me. And we'll hand off the mic to either You know, I'm going to do it. I'm going to end it the way I started it. Yeah, so that's what I got. It's been fun rambling for 20 odd minutes now, and I hope that it was a nice change of pace for the listeners. If not, you know, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming next week, so don't be too sad. And we'll have Noah round it out here for today, or just be up next if I'm not second. Now, this is obviously the second segment you're hearing.
You know, every time something like this happens, I have the world's strongest desire to go incredibly overboard. You know, it's, oh, we have a change up in the lineup and Noah's like stuck here by himself. You know, it's like, oh, I'll pull in Dave. I'll pretend Dave's always been here. Oh, I'll pull in Nina. We'll pretend we're in the woods and that you can hear fire and, crickets and fireworks because we recorded on the 4th of July. You know, it's, oh, Jackson sent me a solo episode where he drops Heavy is the Head that wears the Naruto headband. Oh, yeah, cool. I'll give him, like, fucking fireplace and classical music. You know, I love going way too overboard on a tiny little concept idea. You know what I mean? So today, or yesterday, at time of recording, I should say, when Jackson messaged the group, around 8 p.m., which is really late for him, or maybe it was Sunday. I don't fucking know, man. It's been a whole ass week. And this man says, hey, you know, I could make something happen too. Because I was saying, I'll just make something happen. No worries. We'll get an episode out here. Because I've worked the last 9 evenings. And I haven't had time to record or hang out with any of my friends. And Jackson works all early ass mornings. And Dan works until Jackson goes to bed. So, you know, if we don't get our Saturday or Sunday recording in, it can get a little difficult. And then Jackson said, what if we do an anthology episode? And with that, I'm so happy to present to you OTA 3, the Season of the Witch. Because here we are. It's going to be 3 sections, and I don't know what everyone else is doing, if we're being honest. Dan's doing something, Jackson's doing something, and I'm doing this. It should be a good day. And when I was saying the big concept ideas, you know, I was thinking, how do I stand out and put my thumbprint on this solo episode? What do I do to make this element mine? And I had this idea where I was just going to be like, you know, pretending that the other hosts were here, but that they only agreed with me, and just find a clip of Dan going,
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Yeah. But frankly, I don't have the time to do that right now, so we're not doing that. I was thinking about doing, I've had this concept for a bit called OTA Pirate Radio, where it's very similar to Dan and Dave's Rebel Radio bit, Out the Ass, whatever it is that they've called it in the past. Except the idea was I was going to create an entire soundscape about it. There was going to be like quiet music playing in the background the whole time, and I would make the microphone sound crusty, and it would probably sound a little bit like what I've been doing right here if I work up the gumption to do it. But unfortunately, to do that for a whole episode, that's so much goddamn work. And I would have done it too if I hadn't started editing on Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday, depending on when most of this is getting done on Wednesday. And I don't know if you guys know what day that is, but Wednesday, after I get out of work at 3:30, that gives me a grand total of, 9.5 hours before, 8.5 hours before the episode goes live? Yeah, 8.5 hours to get the rest of the editing done for 2 full other segments. And in fairness, it is going to be really easy to edit my solo bit here, because I'm watching it go, I can see the gaps, and I can already sit here and squarely tell you, I don't have a lot to cut out of this episode so far. The hardest part is going to be the trouble I have made for myself by saying, what if I did my pirate radio concept where I try to sound like I'm doing a boosted off-the-grid radio station running out of my garage? But you know, like, that's not going to happen today. That's not what we're here to do. I had another idea where I was going to do this big long-winded thing about why I don't like Cheetos Puffs versus Crunchy Cheetos. But frankly, I don't think I need to defend myself. Cheetos Puffs are just a bit mid. They are fine, but Crunchy Cheetos got the crunch. There are better puff snacks out there. Cheetos don't have the good texture. I don't know how to tell you that. No one wants to listen to me have a 2-minute conversation where I just lay down the smackdown and I am absolutely 100% right. No one wants to listen to that. It's boring content. Then I thought, well, I didn't get to talk about Color Out of Space on the horror movie podcast on this upcoming episode this week. But frankly, I don't have anything deep to say that without bouncing it off other people. I'm really bad about talking about movies on my own, I think. Maybe I'm not. But I don't know. It needs to be like the right thing to really get me and make everything tick. So instead, here I am, desperately stalling for time, finding the box cutter that Nina lost while I'm standing here, because I'm doing a standing recording this week. I thought it would be kind of fun. And also, I don't know, I've been sitting a lot today, and with how many people are at work, I'm probably going to be sitting a lot tonight, because there's not going to be as much for me to do, and that's okay. That's life, baby. That's just how it be sometimes on this bitch of an earth, whatever everyone's favorite version of the saying is. Fuck, I'm not even 7 minutes in and I ran out of everything I had planned on saying. So that's the really, honestly, it's the bad part about trying to do this solo, is off the air conceptually, as a podcast, does not have enough going for it without the other hosts to bounce off of. The show doesn't stand on its own. That's why we really try to avoid doing solo episodes, because unless you go on like the unhinged 45 to 50 minute rant, you don't really have enough that will actually cover the full conversation, or not the full conversation, the full like approximately like 60 minutes that we try to get these episodes to run. And that's, it's fine, right? But like, it's really difficult with our format of just a couple of guys shooting the shit. I don't really think that it works well as a solo event. So then you have to come up with something, right? You gotta open up Google, for example, and you're just like, what does Google think I want to know about today? But then you find out that Google thinks that when I was playing Red Dead consistently a year ago, now is a great time for them to send me updates about it. But the updates it's sending me are all this great new surprise expansion for Red Dead just dropped. And I'm like, what is that? You click on it and every single time it's a mod. And I'm not fooled by it anymore. I know that it's going to be a mod every single time. It's like a lot. It will say things like new content added to Red Dead in recent patch. And I'm like, what recent patch? I didn't get an update. And the recent patch is a mod that you can download. It's not a patch. It's a mod. Call it like it is. But they know people don't want to hear about Red Dead mods. They want to hear about new Red Dead content. Or, God, the worst of all, when they're just like, Red Dead Redemption 3. And I'm like, it's not been announced, you jackass. Red Dead Redemption 3 isn't coming. It's not going to happen. And when it does, there's going to be so much noise about it. I don't need you to give me the hypothesis of this is what Red Dead 3 could look like. This is who it probably should follow. I don't give a fuck who you think it should follow. Don't do that to me. God. Honestly, it's like clickbait journalism is the most frustrating thing to me. Because I understand, right? I really understand that we are in a, especially for things like gaming, it's such an oversaturated market. What are you supposed to do, man? Like, you gotta get your news out there. You gotta get people to care about what you have to say. But fucking hell, no one gives a shit about your theories and your, like, special news leaks that aren't actually news leaks and all kinds of stuff like that. Nobody wants to hear about it. People want news. And that's why so many people, like, don't take a lot of those type of places seriously. Or then you end up getting these kids, and respectfully to all the teachers in the audience, but we all know kids can be a little stupid and gullible sometimes. And these kids will look at this stuff and they'll go, you didn't hear about the new whatever coming out? And it's like, yeah, man, because it's not coming out. It's not a new game that's happening. This was an attempted, like, hey, look at this, what could be. It's not a solid thing. It's like when people leaked GTA 6 like 2 years before the game was supposed to come out in like heavy alpha, pre-alpha in some of the states, and people like extrapolated whole ass game ideas. This don't do that. People are gullible and stupid. They'll believe that it's happening. They'll believe that it's coming. GTA 6 isn't going to come out for ages. We knew they were working on it. And that's it. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know why I'm on this one right now. But it is what it's going to be. This is simply what we're up to. There's so many things where it's really hard to find a solid source of news about stuff like that. I have so many accounts on Twitter. Actually, you know what? Here we are. We're going to pivot to talking about Twitter, I guess. I have so many accounts on Twitter blocked that are just like pop culture news that I don't know why this happened, but Twitter's just recommending to me the most boring shit on planet Earth. And it's all stuff that I don't care about. Now, obviously, it's an algorithm. It's every now and then it'll throw you a curveball to see if it's something that you're actually interested in, because sometimes it works. I understand that. I know how that works. But I wish I understood what I did that made it think that pop culture is what I craved to know about, because I like pop culture well enough. I don't like celebrity gossip pop culture. And I think, frankly, it's probably because I looked up Jamie Foxx a few weeks ago for the Off the Air episode. Because every now and then I'll look things up for this podcast, or I'll look something up for the stream, or something like that. It will pollute my Google results for weeks on end. And Twitter's even worse now because the whole thing's fallen apart. Have you seen the ads on Twitter anymore? The ads you get on Twitter. This is the bit I should have done for the OTA Garage Pirate Radio, but whatever. The ads that you get on Twitter now are so fucking goddamn brain dead. You're sitting here, you click on a post, and the second comment down is an ad. Okay, that's a stupid ass change, but it was a desperate attempt to make more money. Whatever. Okay, fine. But the ads are all like 5-minute craft Facebook video level ads. Like it's toy companies from Japan. It's weird, like, fuck man, what else am I seeing? It's mostly these like cheap ass toy and like cheap home decor commercials that literally look like a 5-minute craft video. They'll be like, look how bendy this thing is. Wow, look at this. It's so cool. They're marketing to literal fucking babies. And they think that that's my demographic. I've talked about this with a few people before, where like the marketing demographic slots are so fucking wild to me, because every now and then, because certain websites only market to certain people, I'll get all these ads for like, oh, discount realty in your area. New Pennsylvania tax code laws are going to make it hard for people in brackets your area in the coming years. So like they got Pennsylvania down, but they couldn't get my city. So they just have it be like a generic thing that they're trying to pull from my cookies to know where I'm from, right? And I get these jank ass ads, prostate issues, make sure to check this out. And it's like, yeah, I know I'm turning 30 and that's when they start having you do that. But these are not like young people ads directed at like you're getting older. These are new things that you should know entering your 60s. That's like, why are you marketing this to me? Oh, because it's a local news page? Yeah, I guess that makes a little sense. They're not expecting young people to be here. So instead they're hawking boner pills at people. They're not doing that on the local news page. But that's the kind of stuff like 65 plus ads I'm getting. Homeowner shit. I don't own a home. Why does it fucking think I own a home? Because I Googled how to unclog a drain? Newsflash, buddy. Everyone's got a drain. Not everyone has a home. I'd love to have one though. That's a big bummer that Dan and I discovered a little bit ago, was just like how expensive housing is in various areas. Cause I'm like showing him houses around me and I'm like, this is so expensive. And he's like, buddy, that's not. And I'm like, I know it's not for you. You live in expensive land. I live in the poorest, or in the city with the poorest zip code in America. I live in the cheapest city to live in almost in the entire country. And what the fuck, man? And not here. Actually, there was an article about that too, because they were saying we were the cheapest city to live in. But there's other articles saying that Erie, Pennsylvania was the worst place for African Americans to live in America. Erie was the poorest zip code in America. I think that was maybe a misleading article, because I never read the Erie is the cheapest place to live article, because I was just like, yeah, whatever. Because I was pissed off that day about something. But I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that Erie being the cheapest place to live has more to do with the fact that we're just an incredibly low income city on the whole than anything else. I don't know. But let's talk about work, right? Because I've talked about this a little bit. I got promoted recently. I picked up a couple more hours, which honestly, the only thing that has thrown a true wrench into my social life and everything is that the new job is all evenings. And I didn't sign up for a job that's all evenings. It's just that due to my position as a floating manager who just helps any store in our region, or not region, our district, I should say, the region being the entire left half of Pennsylvania. I wouldn't do that. But anyone in the district, I can come and help out. And man, I work all evenings now. It's fucking miserable, dude. I come home and I'm wound up and I can't fall asleep. And then I try to get things done before work because I'm trying to go to sleep and I don't want to stay up late doing things. And it just like, it never quite works out the way you want it. You know what I mean? But my biggest issue is no matter how, like, let's say I do this floating gig for 5 years, I will always have lower priority than a 1-month-old manager at their home store because that's their home store and they set the schedule around their people and then they put up the shifts that they need help with, you know? And that's the thing that bums me out. I'm definitely going to be gunning for like a permanent position soon because as much fun as I'm having, I'm really enjoying actually getting to float and visit everyone. I don't want to transfer again anytime soon. So running everything this way is kind of like, it's kind of working for me. But here's an interesting thing that I've been having to think about. My manager was telling me, hey, there's a possibility that we're going to have another management position open up here. The store would, instead of having 3 managers, then would have 4. There'd be more responsibilities across the board for a lot of different things. And I was asked, would you be interested in doing this? Or not even that, like directly. She was just like, keep your eyes open for whenever that position gets posted. And I don't know if I want that. You know, this is as much responsibility in a position as I've had any time recently. But I remember what it was like at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A fucking sucked. And I think that was, in fairness, that was Chick-fil-A's fault, like the people that I had working there. I learned recently that when I exited making $12 an hour, as a full ass manager there were people there that did so much less work than me, but they were making $27 an hour. They were making more than twice what I was making. When I thought they were making $18 an hour and I was making $12 an hour, I'm like, okay, it's a little bit much of a gap. And the one prep guy was making $15 an hour and I was making less than him, but I was his boss. That sucked. But, you know, I look back and I'm just, it's really easy to point at that and say, well, no shit, no wonder I was unhappy. Look at what I had to deal with. That fucking sucked. This was fucking miserable. It was a goddamn nightmare. And because of stuff like that, I don't know that I actually really want to proceed into more management positions in my current life, you know? Because like, shit, dude, there was my last experience. Why would I want to do that again? Why would I want to go out and deal with that kind of shit even more? And I mean, the answer is I don't. But I know that the situation is so much better at this job compared to fast food, right? Like, this job is easy as hell. This is the easiest job I've ever had in my goddamn life. I walk around, I smile at people, and I sell them alcohol. What the fuck, man? What a deal. People love me there because they are here to buy what I have and they are happy to have it offered to them. What a dream gig. No one doesn't want to do that. That's easy as hell. Unfortunately, I don't know what the higher level stuff looks like. I think that the management level I'm at right now is probably where I want to be, but I don't really know. Anyway, yeah, Twitter ads suck. Fuck you, Elon Musk. Happy Pride Month, everyone. I don't know where this is going to go in the flow today. We got me, we got Jackson, we got Dan. I know Dan is doing something with Dave, but I don't know where they're going. I have no idea what Jackson's about to hand me. All I know is it's going to be about 20 minutes long, and we're just going to cobble together this anthology episode. So, fuck, I don't know. Didn't mean to go into the looking for meaning in life thing again. Well, tangentially. Well, you know what? No, that all fucking stayed in my head. I didn't say it out loud. I was just complaining about work. God damn. It's one of those days, y'all. Whatever. Have a good week. See you next time, hopefully, with everyone. And up next is whoever. Or maybe I'm at the end. Am I at the end? I might be at the end. God, I hope I'm not at the end. That would be miserable.
Yeah, so that's what I got for you. And thanks for listening to the anthology of my rambling. I think it was probably a fun change of pace, hopefully, for listeners. If not, then don't worry, we'll be back to normal next week. We just had some strangeness this week that kind of made this the easiest option, with just like everyone's schedule being insane. But yeah, now we're gonna listen to what Dan had to say. Or was it just Dan? Or was there somebody else? Find out this time on Shadow Wizard Money Gang Comes Into Town. Drop the beat, Noah.
Shadow Wizard Money Gang. We love casting spells. This song is sponsored by the Shadow Government.
I had to go listen to it again because I needed that energy to take hold of my body. So I don't know where in this nightmare that Noah's gonna put us, but I do kind of hope that it's at the end.
Now, this is obviously the third segment you're hearing.
I don't know why it's so funny to me to end on this, but it is.
You gotta rep the sponsors.
So I want to give context because I think the whole story is very funny. So Noah and myself and Jackson had a really tough time. I'm sure the audience is going to hear this like 4 times, but Noah, Jackson, and I had a tough time connecting this week, and so Jackson at like 8 o'clock on Monday. Keep in mind we usually record on like Saturday or Sunday, and Noah has to have everything in by like Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon, so that he can finish the edit. At like 8 o'clock on Monday goes, what if we did an anthology episode? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I panicked because I'm like, oh god, I have to sit and talk to myself for 20 minutes. I can only do that if there's chat involved or if I'm playing a game. And then Noah goes, fuck it, get Dave in, make it a whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? That's the best goddamn idea I've ever heard. And so welcome back to Rebel Radio OTA edition. We have done, Dave, how many of these have we done now?
I think this technically
this is like 3.
Yes, I think this would be the third.
This would be the third. I know one of them never saw the light of day.
Did either of them?
One of them I thought did, but I've been wrong before. So yeah, so Rebel Radio is a very hold on. So Dave, out of nowhere, no context, gives me the Shadow Wizard Money Gang. Now, Dave, you said this is from a song.
So it's from a song by this guy. I guess he's a DJ. I don't listen to this. It's basically trap, but his name is Joey with 2 Y's. Very important. The
Joey
song
with
is
2 Ys.
called Gout. At the very beginning, they play that
Opens
audio.
with this. That's so good. That's so fucking good. Also, low key very funny that we're gonna make Noah edit this now.
He also has such classics as legalize nuclear bombs and nuking is now legal worldwide.
It reminds me of like the GTA 5 radio a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Except like it would be like 100% unironically.
Exactly. That's exactly it. This is not a bit. This is I need to be so clear to you. This is not a goof, a gaff, a he who funny. This is real.
Takes me back to the days of like montage parodies.
Man, I feel like we don't get those anymore. I cannot tell you the last time in my life I've actually seen a montage parody that wasn't a parody of a montage parody. You know what I mean? Like we've kind of gone postmodern with it now.
Kinda, yeah. And there was like a core group of people that were just very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they just sort of petered out. And like you said, there was like parodies of that and then parodies of parodies, and it was just whatever.
They all died out.
It grew like a cancerous, festering thing.
Yeah, I did not know where you were going with that. I don't think you did either.
I mean, what is that? Ain't that how cancer works? It grows on itself and grows on its. Or am I thinking there's a certain one?
I mean, all cancer, like, that's kind of. I'm not a. Do I look like a doctor to you?
I don't know what you look like right now. This is a purely audio format.
I look like shit right now. Again, I cannot stress to you enough how unprepared I was for this.
We have to keep ourselves in a purely audio format so that our voices, they think they can take us for AI. The truth of the matter is, we are AI. We are artificial intelligence because we are not organic. We are not grown. We were created from people.
No,
synthetic
fair,
is
though.
people created. All babies are created by people. Therefore, we are the synthetic AI.
I want to be clear. Our intelligence is 100% artificial. That part is true.
And this is why AI computers will never be a threat, because if we're this stupid.
do something about it. Show up, die mad.
L Mall Seethe Cope.
So the format that Dave and I have done for these like little rebel radios is always we have there are very little rules here in the wasteland between off the air episodes here in the Shadowlands, if you will. But we like to, we gotta have a purpose. You can't just listen. Far be it from us to ever just go on the internet and speak our opinions. We gotta speak our opinions with purpose, with reason. We gotta step into the ring of logic and reason. And so to that end, we want to find we gotta have a thing that we're against. Gotta have a nice meaty target, a nice like full 2-course meal of a thing that we're angry about in the year of our Lord, whatever year you're listening to this. Dave, it sounds like you're angry about AI. I'm not gonna lie to you. That did kind of sound like where you were headed with this.
I mean, look, it's just the newest of like the AI is the newest capitalist fad of I can't wait to replace hardworking individuals with some cheap crap that I'll peddle to the masses. It's all bull. Like,
I mean, you're not wrong about any of this. This is all factual.
and like today I can't even think about AI wronging me specifically, but like
No, I mean, it just because it hasn't yet doesn't mean it won't, right? Like it's the good bad of it is that like, yeah, kind of, dude. It just shows up and then it fucks your day.
yeah, that's just like I'm just trying to do my things, and oh hey, here's some AI to look at.
Here's
And
some AI
it's
to
awful.
get bent.
Well, I was talking about this the other night. I was like, here's the problem with the current trend of AI is people are
Mhm.
like, oh, it's gonna replace artists and do all this stuff. It's gonna be the capitalists are gonna try to develop it so much, it's gonna get to the point where it's not gonna look any more real. People are just gonna
Yeah.
get sick of it. People will actually get sick of it because it's gonna get to the point where it's such shit. And oh, I can cut out like my entire IT department because all I need is like 4 computers. And guess what? They're not gonna know how to use the damn stuff.
I mean, that already is a problem. That's a very, very common problem, honestly, is that like there's plenty of companies that have absolutely no idea how to use the technology they've been given. Absolutely no clue.
Yeah,
None.
and it's just gonna eat itself. And it's like
No.
then they'll hop on to whatever the next thing that people are all psyched about.
I agree. Honestly, I do think there's some parts of it that are actually pretty scary, but for the most part, I mean, it's pretty obvious that you call Hollywood formulaic now. Wait till you see it in 5, 10, 15 years. But really, it's almost worth putting things into place to prevent companies from using it, because they will, and they will try to, like you said, take jobs away from poor hardworking Americans.
It's a get rich quick scheme.
It kind of is.
Well, and that's the problem, right? Like beforehand, AI was kind of a slow burn, kind of, people are working on it, it's doing whatever. But then this all happened, and they're like, all right, we can do this. All right, use the AI, use the NFTs are the next thing. Use that, and just money. And
No.
I guarantee you, people who are getting like sold deep on this stuff in like a couple months are gonna be like, I spent all my money on this AI art studio thing, and the developer is no longer developing it, and it's not going to progress, and also everything's corrupted, and it's just not working.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. That is 100% what I expect to happen.
I was going to make an AI commercial, but now I can't because all of my programs are defunct. And is
Yeah.
there going to be AI that's like government used and funded and, keeping track of people and figuring out ways of identifying people? Absolutely.
Yeah, but then you're taking jobs away from hardworking government shills, and we don't care about that, quite frankly.
Or capitalist shills.
Either, both. We just said the same thing twice.
Oh, you right.
Got him. Well, and I think it's interesting because we're right in the middle of this right now is a good time to chat about it without, ironically, without Noah or Nina here, who I know I've talked to a little bit about this, but like we're right in the middle of so much capital S stuff going on around AI. Like there's a I'm sure the Writers Guild's on strike right now.
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Solidarity,
Hell
my
yeah.
brothers.
Solidarity, 100%. We stand. But I don't know if you do know this, but SAG is also talking about the Screen Actors Guild is also talking about going on strike. There's a vote going around right now for that as well. Essentially for the same thing of, hey, no, but listen, you're not allowed to replace us all with AI. It will be bad for everyone involved. And low key, high key. I mean, not governments, but like the studios have kind of been like, actually, go fuck yourself. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but like, there are documentaries on Netflix right now that are completely like fucking TikTok sound voiced over, like AI voiceovers. It's a thing, which is insane to me. Like, I can't stand listening to that thing for 2 seconds. I can literally not imagine listening to it for that long.
I can't. Well, because it sounds like they're talking through like wet sand.
Yeah,
Because they'll say
it's bad.
something, it'll be like, it'll be Shadow Wizard Honey Gang. And you're like, excuse me?
Excuse the fuck out of what you say? Yeah, no, that's exactly what it sounds like, honestly. And it's wild that people are okay with it. And it's also kind of wild how quickly it came out. Like, it kind of did come out of nowhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I feel like it literally, like, what, a year? Not even. It went from AI Dungeon to Chat GPT 4.
Yeah. Well, and it's because people are like, well, it's because people are having fun with something. Oh, this is a neat little
It
thing.
was a hee-hoo fun time.
And then, the eyes of,
The Eye of
Eye of
Sauron.
Sauron with their dollar signs were like, now how can we take this entirely innocuous thing and suddenly profit off it indisputably?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I do kind of wonder, like, because I think we both agree, AI art, not cool or good, just to be clear.
It doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. I don't remember if I think it was still while we were live last week, but Noah and I talked about super briefly that the only thing I can see it like really being used for long term is not even concept art, literally not even like inspiration. Like I have pulled AI art for like build ideas for like literally like in Minecraft is like that's the kind of, it's not like it's just not.
The only way that I've seen it that I've been like, yeah, all right, I get this, has been like people that have made small short video games just by themselves for like no profit, and they've been like, all right, I'm just using AI art to create like character like pictures and shit. And it's like, yeah, okay, you're it's your thing, it's like your little asset thing. You're not paying anybody out, so you're not buying anybody out. It's like your little project. You're not selling this, you're not profiting off it.
Yeah. It really is kind of I mean, there is also an argument, and I think not to like speak on like Nina's behalf specifically, but I do think it's an argument of like, well, even then it's still stealing somebody's hard work and using it for your own stuff. But I get it. Like, I don't know. If I have literally nothing to work with,
that's, that's very true. And I definitely agree with that. Although I will say, in my personal experience, a lot of the AI art I've seen, a lot of it has been mimicking just like the really standard like anime style that I've seen everywhere already. So I'm like, I don't know who you're ripping off exactly, because this is just, I've seen this, and that's part of the point, is make it so generic that you can't tell who it's stolen from.
You can't tell who
which is bullshit. Yeah. You should always pay your people. But like,
I've seen artists on Twitter say like, "Oh, I recognize this nose," which is wild. First of all, that's wild to me. Very cool that like you're like, because me as somebody who's completely unaware of everything I've ever done ever, there's nothing you could put in front of me and I'd be like, "Oh yes, I recognize this thing that I made." You just couldn't. If it was mashed up into an AI, I physically could not. But like, people have been like, "Hey, I recognize like these specific pieces of the art of my art that have been pulled into this random like piece of art that people are putting off as, or are claiming as, this is claiming as original art kind of thing." And that's the other thing. I also think like that's the insane one, is when you see people who are like, "Oh yeah, no, this is my original, my OC, do not steal," and you're like, "Is it though? Is it though?" I don't. You know what? I'm gonna say it. I don't think it is. I think you're a fucking liar.
I think you're a fool.
I find some of the stuff for like Harrison Ford was talking about it recently, because he is, I guess spoilers for a movie that is not even out yet, but he was talking about how they used AI to de-age him in the new Indiana Jones movie.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that's not a spoiler. That's in the trailer.
Oh, is it okay?
Yeah, because I was
Uh,
like, oh, I know exactly what he's talking about, and I haven't seen Dick.
And he's talking about, they take every inch of film that he ever had when he was working with Lucasfilm, and dumped it into a AI that pulled every possible camera angle and like every possible camera angle and lighting that it possibly could, and generated the rest, and then slapped that onto Harrison Ford's head basically, and essentially like left his lips to go through. And
Gonna look like damn Clutch Cargo. Holy shit.
I mean, it looked good. I'll be honest.
I'm sure it does. Look, we've gotten past the like. Remember, side tangent, but like you remember how side tangent, but not really. You remember how like years ago, like deep fakes were like gonna be the big thing.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
And then they became illegal or banned from like most sites because people would not stop making porn out of them.
yeah, they also still don't look good.
No, they don't. They
Which-
still look wrong.
Which is kind of where I think AI is gonna kind of end up, because if people lose interest or just like
Once the fad part of it is over, kind of thing.
yeah, which is very uncharacteristically of Rebel Radio. But this is what we need.
We have hope in these dark times, David.
We do have hope, but what I'm saying is regulation is actually crucial. And
Well,
also
no, 'cause
incredibly based.
That's the thing, is we don't we simultaneously hate big government, but also deeply require regulation. We understand that the world requires regulation in order to function properly in this modern economy.
Look, I need moderately sized.
The only thing we hate more than big government is big corporation. That's it. That's really what it is.
Look, you have to elect big government. Like that's your own problem down there, and you can revolt against that stuff. Big company? Good luck.
Incredibly unbased of them, honestly. Incredibly deeply unbased big company.
That's why you support your unions and support regulation.
Honestly, yeah, dude. It's wild to me that there's still people out
The
there.
only
who are like,
trickle
"But
down that needs to happen is me taking a leak on Joseph McCarthy's grave.
I was gonna say on Steve Jobs' grave, but that works too.
Steve Jobs works. Ronald Reagan works. Margaret
Ronald
Thatcher
Reagan
works.
especially works.
Robert E. Lee.
Fuck that man.
Pick them. You ain't got tons of them. Let's go on a piss tour. Let's do it. Nothing but drinking and sticking it to the fascists.
That dude, I don't even. It's just, I'm deeply of two minds on this. I won't lie to you. There is a part of me that says fuck the big government, but also the rest of it says fuck the corporations so much more.
It's kind of like it's kind of like, you know, let them fight.
Yeah, a little. It's the Ron DeSantis, Florida Disney thing.
Yeah.
Like, let them burn each other to the ground. I don't fuck them. Fuck them all.
Divide and conquer. If you keep them separate, they'll keep each other in balance because they're too stupidly powerful.
They've been doing it to the proletariat for years. It's time for them to try.
Exactly.
Time for them to get a little bit of their own medicine.
I'll vote for you guys, and I'll keep buying titty milk flavored energy drinks. It don't matter. Let them fight.
Fucking burn it all down. That's all I'm saying.
Burn it all down, and when it's over, we can pee on it.
Dave, I really do think that you maybe are moving a little too deep in this pee thing. Do you need to? Is this like a thing for you? Do we need to talk about this?
Nothing gives me a bigger thrill than emptying my bladder on the tombstone of bondage. But not S&M bondage. We support is Pride Month.
Yeah. It is Pride Month.
It's consensual. It's okay. If it's not, I will pee on it.
What the government does is not consensual.
I do not consent.
I do not consent to
Post this to my Facebook wall, and they will not be able to use it against me.
Oh god, dude. We really do live in what's left of a society, huh?
I mean, I mean, here's the problem, right? It's like, oh, we're in the wreckage. It's just evolved.
Devolved or evolved?
I think it's evolved because I think, like, I don't know if we've regressed. Like, certainly some things have gone back, but like nothing goes back the way it was. So I don't
That's
know
fair.
if that's de-evolution.
I think that's extremely fair, actually. It's and something, I mean, and it's also the whole, some things are objectively better than they ever have been. And then other things you're like, but what if we didn't, actually? I'm with you, brother.
We have a Labor
right,
Day and people have to sell mattresses and cars for discounts. What the fuck is that about?
What the fuck is that?
We didn't go far, but like, I don't know, maybe they get paid time and a half. I don't know how that shit works.
You know they don't.
They probably don't.
Search your heart. You know, you and I both
But also,
know
who
they
the
absolutely
fuck is
do.
buying cars every damn Labor Day?
The Laborians. I don't know what that joke was supposed to be. I got nothing on that one. I'm getting ready to Lamorb.
It's it's laborin time. Laborb time. I'm gonna laborb out.
And alternatively, the last option. Yeah, and it's nice to walk down memory lane like that. And I hope you've enjoyed today's anthology episode. I think it's a fun change of pace. I hope you found it to be a fun change of pace. If you didn't, that's okay. No worries, we'll be back to normal next week. Thanks for listening. We really appreciate you being out here and continuing to support the podcast, because who doesn't like when people tell you that what you do is worthwhile? Because what you do is worthwhile if you're listening. And thank you. I guess that's it. And we'll see you next week.